Hello and welcome back to my channel. Heine Mama Fights Back. I'm Santa Heineman, and I'm so glad that you could stop by and check out this video and maybe just keep up with how I'm doing on my health journey and maybe hear something inspiring or leave a comment with something to add that's inspiring. This is my attempt at healing through community, and just started this about 3 weeks ago, and literally I just thought it in my head, okay, I'm gonna do this. I don't know what it takes to do it, but I'm just gonna do it. It should be pretty simple. Just make a video on my phone, upload it to YouTube, and I'm just gonna do it. And I did, and I'm so glad that I did, because I've had such a great response from so many of you talking about feeling inspired and feeling motivated or stronger after hearing messages from me. And that's an amazing feeling, is to feel that I could help someone in some way, because a year into this stage 4 cancer journey, I feel a little bit stuck and helpless a lot of days. So many people are helping me, and it just feels really amazing to be able to do something as simple as share my heart and feel like I am helping someone. I know I'm definitely helping myself, so it may be purely selfish, but it feels like it's spreading to some of you and being helpful. So I'm just really grateful for that. And I'm grateful that I had the idea and the bravery to execute and start the channel and start these weekly videos. So I'll just get right to it for today. So each video is kind of just coming off of what I'm going through at the time, or for the past week since I last made a video. And so just I think this week was really, really a tough week for me, but I sometimes, to my own fault, will just kind of power through. I know I've said that before, and what I mean by that is just like talk myself up. It's okay. Whatever it is, it's okay. Whatever it is, I'll be fine. I'll have this option or that option. I make things sound right in my head, even though all I really want is to have no cancer in my body. All I really want is not just to have a clean MRI on Monday, but to not have to ever have an MRI. Like, that's obviously what I want, is to have a healthy body that doesn't have cancer in it, that I don't have to give attention to this disease and illness anymore, although it has transformed my life in ways that are unimaginable, and I wouldn't have been able to, I don't think, transform this way without this massive event in my life that is stretching on for a long period of time. So it's so weird to say, to be grateful for it, but also to be really annoyed by it at the same time. I just was thinking, like, the kids had their last day of school today, and I just want to be the mom that doesn't have cancer, that has already put a month worth of planning into what activities we're going to go out and do this summer and all the adventures, and be so excited and talking about everything we're going to start next week on the new week of freedom. And that's just not where I'm at in my life right now. I can't drive because of the medications that I take and the radiation I've had recently in my brain. And I just don't feel safe driving. And I can't really physically go out for big outdoor adventures. I kind of need to stay close to home where I can rest and be close to a clean bathroom. And, cancer just has a lot of, cancer treatments just has a lot of things that come up and that your body kind of goes through a lot. So, being close to home is more comfortable. But what I really want is to just be that mom with that go bag already ready by the door every day, that we can just jump in the car with snacks and lunches and all the right gear and be hiking and exploring in the water and, just exploring and nature. And because that's who I am and that's who I have been and that's who my kids know me as. And so this week I've had each of my kids ask me separately at separate times and separate kind of context, ask me, Mama, do you still have cancer? And the answer is yes, I do. And I think the reason the question is coming up, because I told you last week that I had the surgery to remove the tumor, and I'll show you. We had that tumor removed. I posted a picture on my social media, but you can see that scar. It's just a long red scar, and that was the only tumor that was the only place that you could see cancer on my body, or any of the kids could see cancer on my body. Was that one tumor that was kind of poking out under the skin. I mean, it just kind of pushed the skin out and they could see the lump there and feel it. And I guess they're asking now because they see the scar and know that it's been removed and it's gone. And so in my mind, I'm thinking they are wondering when, since the cancer's gone, when am I going to be back as the mom that they know? This is me interpreting, they're not saying that, but I'm wondering the same thing, when am I going to be the mom that can do all the things so that we don't have to hire the teenager babysitter to come twice a week and step in for me and do activities and things like that, which we adore her and love our time with her. It's just, I think that's the feeling in the family, is like, we're ready for this. We're ready for mom to get mom back. And I'm definitely ready. We've been a year now, and and I was just thinking, like, I compare this journey to a marathon, but it's not. You can stop running and you choose to sign up for the marathon, and you can stop when you want to and take a break when you need to. And this is not like that. There are no breaks. You might have good days and better than the other days where you don't feel as bad, but you never really truly get the self back, the body back that you think in your head is what you want. And I was thinking about that today, like, if I could just get the summer off, like just take the summer off where I could be me, the me that I want to be in all aspects and my body, and do all the things, the hikes, the paddleboarding, all of the things, all the outdoor adventures, and still have the energy to come home and like unload the car and still do all the chores that moms do and cook dinners and all of this stuff. If I could just get a break for the summer, then I could tap back into what I need to do with new energy and go forward into chemotherapy or keep fighting the cancer. But that's not really how it works. So because there's inflammation and cancer in the lymph nodes in this area, it really affects my eating, drinking, appetite, nausea, vomiting, breathing. So it really limits me physically on how far I can go or what I can do, or if the weather is too windy or too much toxins in the environment, like if the air quality is not great, or allergies or something. Like, I'm kind of in a protection mode since my body's under so much stress, and not just with the illness, but with the treatments. There comes a lot of stress and the medications. And so I'm kind of in a protection mode of like preserving what I have, and so that I can continue to get stronger, and then I can be that hiking mama that I want to be, and outdoor adventurous that I want to be. Maybe it will be September and I don't get to pick it. I don't get to say it's the last day of school and I want it now, and just grab it. That's kind of frustrating, but that's what it is. And so I'll just settle for when it comes, whatever month it comes in. I will celebrate and be so happy just running around outside doing all the things I want to do with my kids and my family. So I've just accepted that. And I may still get pissy about it every once in a while, and that's okay. I'll get pissy about it every once in a while and deal with it and move on. But I still feel very grateful for having this experience, how much it's grown me and transformed me. And I'm still very grateful for that. And I definitely wouldn't want to go back to the life I had before this, before the growth and the change and learning who I really am and how strong I really am. And I didn't know that before. And I mean, I knew I could handle a lot, but I didn't really know myself until I've gotten to these deep, dark places in my physical body. And so what I dealt with this week was, I guess, anxiety, anticipation. I'm not somebody who really shows that or talks about that or is just like an anxious type of person. But I've explained before that we've found some spots in my brain since I've had the craniotomy, and then they would check my MRI on my brain every 3 months. And then we started finding spots after several MRIs were coming back clean. And then suddenly there was 25 spots, 22 spots, then 3 spots. And so I was getting radiation for that. And I was very excited on the last MRI, finding out that there was only 3 spots. It was 4 spots, and they only treated 1. So they left 3 untreated by radiation because they were so small. And so this past Monday, I had an MRI to check on my brain and just, check on those spots that we didn't treat because they were too small. And the immunotherapy that I get, and every treatment I get every 3 weeks, that has been what's helping to reduce the amount of spots that are coming up on the MRI. But it's obviously not like just cleaning up and doing a bang up job of clearing it out quickly and whatnot. And so the hard part is I have this great app through UC Health, which I love this company, this healthcare company. They're amazing. And this great app where I go in and I get my MRI, and within about 2 hours, the report from the radiologist is in my app in full detail, written like a doctor would describe things in a report, which is really hard for me to interpret. And, at the end, it's like the conclusion, and it says, so basically, mixed results was the conclusion. And then I don't get a meeting with my radiation oncologist for a couple of days after I received the MRI. So I sit with that, having read that report and not really knowing how to interpret it, and just waiting to see the doctor for him to interpret it for me. And so what I went through this week was I've been through so many MRIs and CT scans, and really just wondering what those results were going to say, and going through so many of those. It's just such a roller coaster. And so going into this one, this MRI, I was just like, you know what? I'm not even going to think like it's going to be clean. It's going to be no spots. I'm not going to like have some kind of mantra in my head where I say that it's going to be this kind of outcome. I just went into it with the attitude of whatever the outcome is, I have a great care team. I have the best doctors who are managing my care, and I have so many options to treat whatever we find. And so that's the attitude I went in with, and that was great. And I didn't have a lot of stress going into the MRI, but then I got that report and I didn't really know how to make heads or tails of it. And so for Monday evening and all day yesterday and half of today, I just was like, what am I going to find out? What's the plan going to be? I couldn't stop thinking about what I was going to find out. And even though I had decided that whatever I was going to find out, I was in good hands, and I had all the things that I needed to help me resolve whatever issues that I would find out about, that waiting and that anticipation, that really was hard, because it's like every moment having to stay strong and mentally, and not, how easy is it to just fall into fear and the, what if it's this? What if it's that? Like, how easy would that be for me or any of us? Like, I think really easy. And that's what made the waiting so hard, was that I was having to work so hard on my mind while I was waiting. And then, of course, when I found out what I found out today at the doctor, which basically he said it was nothing to report. Those 4 spots he found last time, and he treated 1 and left the 3. The one that he treated is smaller, and the other 3 are slightly larger. That was the mixed results that I couldn't interpret. And those 3 spots are still small enough that he gave me the option to not do radiation on them at this time, that we could wait up to 6 weeks. And so that's what I decided to wait, since I have stuff in the works with the tumor being removed, and it's been sent off to this lab for chemo sensitivities. And in the next 5 days or so, I will know how my tumor reacted to certain chemos, and if there are other chemotherapies that I can take that will really target the type of pathology that's showing up in my cells and my cancer cells. So I'm going to wait on those 3 spots, but but I just felt like this huge letdown of emotion. I went after that appointment directly upstairs to get some fluids, and the nurses are so amazing on the infusion clinic. And my nurse is, I've had her a few times, and she kind of knows me, and she just asked me how I was, and I'm like, I'm okay. And she's like, no, how are you? Really? And then I just kind of crumbled and said, I am okay. This is a lot. I was still okay. And I really did protect my mind through this whole process. But my heart, it's an emotional process, because it's not just me. It's not just me who has to think and guard my mind and be in a positive place and be in a place that's comfortable for me emotionally and mentally and spiritually. But I see all the faces of my family every day, and how this situation and my illness affects them negatively or positively or otherwise, whatever. And also the people that reach out to me. And, I know that this is a whole team effort, and we're going through this together. And so a lot of the emotions that I pick up and carry are those of the other people that I love, that are also waiting on the results and wondering, what does it mean for Santa to what's next? Everybody really wondering, and how they're dealing with it. I don't know if they're dealing with it through fear or anxiety or stress or their ways of dealing with it. I can't have control over that, but I just know that it's a process for the people that I love and are most close to me. And so this week was a lot about anticipation, just wondering what's going on the inside where I can't see, all I have is my body to gauge. And I'm usually a person that doesn't take a lot of medication. And one of the reasons is I like to listen to my body. So if I take something for a headache or to prevent a headache or something, then how will I know? How will I listen to my body if I'm muting it with medication? So I've always been somebody who wants to gauge first. Okay, how is this pain? Okay, well, maybe I should try to take some pain reliever because it's a little bit too much. But first I want to feel it and see what I need to do with it, or let it talk to me and tell me, oh, you need to pay attention to this area of your body because you're having pain here or something. But right now I am on so many medications. I don't have that to rely on, that being one with my body as far as being able to listen really closely and feel really closely, because I'm on so many medications. I need to be, and I'm okay with that right now. I need to be on them because they're helping me breathe and eat and swallow and keep food down and maintain weight and hopefully getting stronger too. And so I'm grateful to the meds. But this is just such a new process for me, and I'm learning so much about how to speak up when I'm in pain, how to recognize when I'm in pain, because just having a really high tolerance for pain can be a bad thing when you're going through cancer, because I feel like I can just bear a lot of it and I'm okay with it. but really I need to be listening to the pain and what it's telling me so that I can report that to the doctors and we can stay on top of all of the things that might be going wrong before they really go wrong. So I'm getting better at that and learning how to listen through the medications and and to understand what my body's telling me and to understand when it's time to involve other people in that process and in that knowledge so that I'm being as safe as I can with this whole thing, this whole big thing that I'm doing. So anyway, most of my week being about anticipation, some anxiety, some, oh my gosh, what am I going to do if it's this? You know, there's moments of that. And like I said in the last video, for the most part, I really just try to fill myself up with positive affirmations, knowing that who I am inside is not the stage 4 cancer patient. That's not who this is talking to you. That's what I'm going through right now. I'm going through a lot of other things too, grief and excitement about the school year ending and the end of first grade and the end of fourth grade. And, you know, it's people coming to visit me this summer and, you know, dealing with the fact that I'm not able to show up as the mom that I want to be physically. I can still show up as the mom I want to be emotionally there for my kids. And it doesn't change who I am inside, that I can't do all the stuff I used to do. It doesn't change that. I'm learning, and my kids are very patient with me and very resilient and understanding. And that, you know, when I get back to that place where I can be the person I recognize and the person that I want to be and that my kids recognize, that it will be easy for this to become a memory and not a focal point, and that we'll be able to just seamlessly and gracefully go right it back into healthy, happy mama that can drive and do all the things and be who they recognize. But yeah, so that was the main thing this week, was what I do when I have something big that I have to look forward to, because that happens a lot. I have CT scans to measure things, all these lymph nodes, and, you know, I can either get really fearful and do this what if downing thing that I can explain about, like, versus what if upping. So like I can say, what if, you know, there's no spots on the MRI and there's no explanation and nobody can figure it out and it's just a miracle. You know, that's a fun game to play. What if up? What if there's only one spot and it's so small that they don't need to treat it, and all the other spots they've already treated, they can't see anymore? What if there's only one spot and it's in a place where they can take it out and it can give more answers, because maybe it's a different kind of cancer in my brain than it is in the rest of my body, or I don't know. Just what if upping into a positive place versus what if there's 20 spots again and I have to go through that awful radiation therapy that makes me so sick and it's so painful? What if there's 5 spots and I still have to go through that? What if the mask they made me last time doesn't fit me again. And now I have to go in for another fitting, a third fitting for a third mask, because that's a really hard appointment where they just hold you down for 45 minutes in a really tight spot to create a mold for your face. And it feels very suffocating, and it's just very uncomfortable and a little bit scary. Like, I could what if down everything and have that fear, or what if up, and what if they didn't find anything, that was a clean scan. I know what I can do with that. I can go to the place where 6 months ago when I had an MRI and it was clean. I know that feeling. It was an amazing feeling. So dealing with things that you're anticipating, or are excited about or have anxiety about, what do you do when you're having something that you look forward to that might be a little bit scary because you don't know what the outcome is going to be? Like, what do you do? How do you handle that anxiety or anticipation or excitement? Because that can be very distracting in your regular life. Even excitement can. And so what are some tricks that you do to keep yourself kind of focused and not let your mind just wander into places that can be dangerous or harmful or bad for you, or just too distracting? You can leave some of those answers in the comments if you have some tricks that you like to use for that kind of problem or event that might come up for you. Yeah, I think that was it for my update. And really what I had going on this week was just that part of life that everybody has, the something big that you're looking forward to or that you need to get through that might be hard. Like, do you phone a friend and just call them and just say, oh my gosh, I'm going through all of these emotions? Or keep it to yourself? Do you have a therapist? Do you call your minister? Like, do you internalize it and just carry it by yourself? What are the things that you do? And can you think about those times and how they've come up and affected you in your life, negatively or positively, and reflect on those times and say, oh yeah, I remember really struggling with that once, and I didn't handle that very well, but I feel like maybe I could do this next time, and that would be better. Or I don't know. You can share that here in the comments on the YouTube page, so that we can all kind of benefit from hearing your thoughts and ideas about getting through some anxiety. And look at me, I survived. It could have been worse news. And like I said to myself going into it, if it had been worse news, I still would have options and still have treatment that I could take, so it wasn't like the end. I knew that, well, whatever I'm going to find out, I know that there's going to be answers. But I think in just my weekend emotional state, I was just wanting to hear the words, it's gone, somehow it stopped growing and it's not there anymore. And maybe I'll never get those words, but maybe I will live a life where the disease isn't at the front of my life, where it's maybe still in my body somewhere, but I can breathe and eat and everything's resolved, and the cancer is no longer causing me symptoms. I'd be totally fine with never hearing those words, like you have no cancer in your body, no evidence of disease, you're in full remission. Like, I don't need that to be, I just am ready for my body to do what I want it to do. And I might be a little impatient. So I'm working on that. But acceptance is a big part of this journey. Accepting the things maybe you really don't want to. And that's what I'm working on, is trying to embrace those things. Those are the hard things. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say, oh, I love this cancer and I'm so glad that it's here transforming me. I mean, I'm really grateful for the transformation, but I also would really like to have this part of my body be healthy and go for a jog, bike ride, hike, that will come. And I will celebrate that day for sure. So thanks for listening to me go on and on and on. And hopefully you can learn from me struggling, from my struggles of how I have anxiety and anticipation and just kind of holding my breath till I figure out what's going on. And I try not to give too much power to all those numbers and the reports that the doctors give me, because they are just measurements and they are just reports of measurements, and medical details. But it doesn't really dictate my life. Like, if I have 20 spots and the doctor says, yeah, but I can take them out, then, great. He did that. And I still have a brain and I can still do these videos. So, it's not the end if I get a report like that. It's just, wanting something or feeling like you're already something, feeling like you're already healed and whole and healthy, and then having something else contradict that. But right now my body is telling me it doesn't feel healthy in certain spots. And I'm focusing on getting those repaired and recovered and back to their normal state. But I really try not to give too much power to all those reports. And that's just a practice and an exercise. I'm going to tell you, really hard for seasoned spiritual people with great faith. I mean, it's hard work, but I think that's what we came here to do, is to grow our spirits and our souls while we're doing this hard work. And I'm just glad that I can do this in community with you. And you can hear about all my weaknesses and strengths and fears and triumphs, and then share in the comments too what it is that you do in times like these and what you're going through. And anyway, thanks for all the love and prayers and support. I'm doing well today. Those spots that are there are so small, they're not affecting anything in my brain or in my body. I asked specifically, I'm like, could they be what's wrong with my appetite or my swallowing or breathing? They're not in any spots that are affecting any of that. So if they were, I would have said, let's go ahead and treat them. It's really just this that I need to shrink, the cancer in here that needs to shrink, and then I will be hiking and be on that mountain, and I'll be taking pictures and sharing it all with you guys. So I hope you all have a great week, and if you have any suggestions or questions of things that you'd like me to address or talk about, there's so much that goes on with this cancer journey that I'd love to support you by answering any questions that you might have. Or if it's just about grief or life, I can help out there too. Whatever you want, just ask, and I'll be glad to engage and make this a community participation. So all my love to you, and thanks again for tuning in. I hope that I can touch somebody's life and make a difference while I'm in the middle of this biggest struggle of my life. That is such a great gift I've been receiving lately. And so I'm happy to do that, and happy to be here with all of you and for all of you. And I'm happy that you chose to be here and support me, and just love you all so much. See you next week.